Wrestling with wrestling's past and present.
How old were you?
I was -3.
JR is trying to contain Jim Ross.
McFlurry,
It's Mick Foley.
Do you see any of the aggro crag? Was any of that left over?
No, unfortunately not.
No?
We're taking some of that home.
Definitely not is the barn burner that Leaf Cassidy and Ty Raleigh thing was, but we'll leave that there.
We digress.
God, I hope that storyline ends soon.
And 6 to 8 weeks later, they mail you a freaking magnet.
Yep. You may know him as the Red Rooster.
It's still real to me, damn it.
Hager kept making out with his wife. It was weird. So then, I'm waiting for them to put the Selena Vega on a pole match.
And I mean, Big E's got Whale performing in his entrance, so I feel like
Wale.
Wale. I don't listen to. Okay, well, I don't listen to him, so I apologize to Wale.
This is in the mail, my good sir. No, it wasn't. Oh.
I feel like Vince is just gonna have them team together and be like, have them call Woo Bro. Like they're just gonna be the Woo Bros. Like, anyway.
Giving us a reason to come here and listen to ourselves talk.
Absolutely,
And then you can listen to us too.
Strap on and balls only on wrestling past and present.
This is Gangrel, the Vampire Warrior, and you're listening to Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is at Creek Swimming, moonshine sipping, deer skinning, beer drinking, Johnny Cash listening, SOB straight out of Middle Tennessee. That's right. It is the Cowboy James Storm, and I want to say be sure to check out the podcast Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present. Relive all your favorite TNA pay-per-view moments as they cover them once a month. I'm telling you, you got to check this out. And if you don't, you know I'm going to say it. Sorry about your damn luck.
This is Wrestling
with Wrestling's Past. Oh, sorry, I'm not used to someone else being here.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm used to doing this. I'm sorry. Just go ahead. Start over. It's fine.
Man. This is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present. I'm Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Fulis.
And I'm Mongo.
All right, stop it before we get a copyright.
Yeah, we don't want those copyright strikes.
Yeah, we don't want to stop again. Hammer time from YouTube.
Right. Copyright strikes are bad. Okay. We don't want those.
And it's another late night recording, so we're obviously going to be off to a rough start. Roland's already got half a beer ounce down, 30 ounces down?
Well, probably a solid 24 anyways. In my... This podcast is unofficially sponsored by Big Ass Beer Glass. Get one. You can put about 2 tall boys in it.
I got them, but that's all right.
Just your presence is a present.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been away for the last couple of weeks. Thank you guys for holding the fort down, but I'm back and ready to go for TNA Lockdown 2006. Full disclosure, this should be a good recording because it's 1:30 in the morning right now as we're recording this, and usually our best recordings come night/early morning, so looking forward to getting this pay-per-view with you guys.
Yeah, once the delirium sets in, that's usually when the stuff starts getting really good. So,
yep.
No, welcome back, buddy. But hopefully, you can lock you down for future episodes because
I like that.
because honestly, our streams are down without you. Whenever it's a 2-man combination, whether it's us two, you two, back when it was you
it's
and I.
A beautiful day. Oh, sorry, you didn't mean that.
Yeah, no, I'm good. No, Triple H, stop! Not the Triple H montage video, okay?
I'm glad you got where I was going with that. Yeah, that was good.
But yeah, welcome back. I know the listeners are definitely glad you're back because the 3 men are back. We're going to do this, and it's not 3 men to baby, but it's 3 men to podcast, baby. So let's roll.
That's right. As Thin Lizzy said, the boys are back in town. We're bringing in all the old school references today. TNA Lockdown 2006. We're doing this once a month covering TNA. We started this last year and it was a big success. So next up on our TNA discussion is Lockdown from 06. 8 matches to discuss. We'll get right into it. The first match is a 6-sided steel match. Get used to that because that's not the only one that we're going to be having throughout this whole night.
But this is just, I don't know. I'm just tired of it.
Wow. 2 weeks off and this guy becomes an audio genius over here.
I'm not.
Is that at the end of the
last episode? No, it was the beginning. That's the worst part. I put the beginning at the end and the end at the beginning somehow, double layered. This is why you're the audio guy, because they're starting to get layers. It's not Trident layers like gum. This was audio layers, and I felt dumb. We're just gonna go with that, Ryan.
All right.
You're a poet. You didn't even know it.
That's right.
Damn straight. See, look, welcome back, Timmy. I derailed your ass.
Yeah, you did. Trying to keep us on the straight and narrow here.
Mongo and I obviously talked about this, that we were going to do certain things to punish you for not being here, and we wanted to roast you a bit, and we wanted to have fun like we normally do. So you have like 2 weeks worth of this coming in one episode. But just
all right,
just be ready.
I deserve it.
Hey, I said after the first episode you missed that you didn't want to work more than 40 hours a week. That was your problem. I was like, you can't work a 6-day, God forbid. Like that was my joke. But yeah.
Nostradamus over here.
I'm going to try to keep the show on the rails as much as possible, but with these two jokers over here, who knows what's going to happen?
Good luck.
So this is a TNA World Cup preview match. It's Team Japan, which is represented by Black Tiger, Minoru Tanaka, and Hiroki Gato, getting a win against Team USA, which is represented by Sanjay Dutt, Jay Lethal, and Alex Shelley in about 12 minutes. Before I get into the match, my favorite part about this whole thing was when they introduced Team USA, the first thing you hear the ring announcer says, "From India," is Sanjay Dutt. Did anybody else catch that?
I was going to say, I was like, yeah, the player from the Himalayas is on the U.S. squad.
I got a kick out of that. This was a solid match. It's an X Division style match. I mean, TNA, like we said, always kind of seems to start off their pay-per-views with some 6-way, 4-way, 8-way, whatever type of match. So, and usually they're kind of clustery, but this one I thought was actually pretty solid. A lot of good work. I mean, I wasn't really familiar with the Team Japan guys, their work, but I was really impressed. A little surprising that they actually got the win, which I think was good because the unpredictability factor there. But I think it was a solid opener to the show.
And I will say it was kind of nice that this match, they didn't really utilize the cage much. They kind of just did their own thing. They, that's what makes some of these matches make sense, because old school wrestling, a cage is made for like a blow off. And this is one of the criticisms that Eric Bischoff has about the lockdown pay-per-views and stuff, that they didn't make sense because at least half of the matches didn't need to be in a steel cage.
Yeah, sometimes when a pay-per-view has too many gimmicks, you get frustrated because you're like, oh, the match, like you said, the matches have to mean something. Who cares if they're in a steel cage? They don't even know each other. Like, this is a one-time feud. But this one, like you said, they worked with the gimmick well. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was a solid way to open the show. Fun fact, does anyone know who Black Tiger currently wrestles as today?
Black Tiger, wasn't that nope, that was somebody else that I looked up.
Rocky Ramiro.
Really?
Yeah, so who's recently showed up on AEW for the crossover. So I thought that was cool. I remember hearing about him. And I kind of remember watching him. So I clicked on his wiki and I was like, damn, it's Rocky Romero. So Roland, last time you told me about TJ Perkins being, oh my goodness, what's his name? He's Puma. Coming up later today too. Puma. So I'm like, oh, I got to get a Roland fact. So there's your first Roland fact of the day.
I'm glad somebody did it because I didn't.
Our second match is another 6 sides of steel match. Christopher Daniels going against a mystery opponent. I can't Roland just stuffing his face with Easter candy.
I was on mute until you said something. But who doesn't like Reese's eggs? Come on, man.
I had eggs for breakfast. What's the problem? It was chocolate eggs.
I got a white chocolate one I'm going to devour here in a minute. If Tim could just leave me the fuck alone and let me eat them. Fucking guy.
Wow, look at this, Roland. Dude's back for one episode and he's already roasting you.
Well, I gotta give it back to you guys. I'm not just gonna sit here and take it.
No, motherfucker.
Anymore.
You take it and you like it.
Anyways.
Tim, is it okay if I eat the white one too?
Yeah, you can eat the white one.
All right, just checking.
We're only 2 matches in.
Hey, but to be fair, we're on the second match and it's only 8 minutes in, so like that's pretty good.
Yeah. This might be a Linda episode. Hi, Linda. Haven't talked to you in a while.
She's gonna be like, "Who the fuck was that?"
So, anyways, Christopher Daniels against a mystery opponent, which turned out to be the former Loki. He's going by Senshi here. I don't know.
Way to go, Caval. Oh, sorry, wrong reincarnation.
Of domination.
But excuse me.
That was so stupid. It was funny.
A match goes about 12 minutes. Again, another solid match to open. I guess in the beginning of the show. I do like that. Again, maybe a little unpredictable that Senshi, Loki, whoever you want to call him, gets the win here, being that he was the mystery opponent. But I thought it was another really good match. Christopher Daniels can work with anybody. He had a great TNA run. But yeah, I really like this one as well. 2 solid openers.
Tim, would you say that it was a low-key surprise that Senshi won?
Low-key, that's good. That's a pretty good one right there.
Yeah, no, this is the type of match that TNA was founded on. The X Division, fast-paced, almost a cruiserweight style, but obviously you can't really call it a cruiserweight because that's not what they called it. And essentially, that's what the X Division was. Like, I know there was some different, weight limit like Samoa Joe and stuff like that, but I mean, for the most part, the X Division was pretty much just a cruiserweight division on crack. Is kind of what it was, with a couple of bigger guys sprinkled in that could do some exciting things. And let's just go out on a limb here, and I think I can speak for the two of you that it's nice to see Samoa Joe back in the ring. Hopefully he can stay healthy and have a good solid run here, because Lord knows the last 2 instances at WWE, he kind of got fucked around a bit. Injuries didn't help, but hopefully he can have a real relevant run. It seems like they're kind of loading him up for one. So here's hoping.
Also, can I just point out that earlier we had Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal, who are now repairing together to train the Great Value Kali. So
he's going to continue on the legacy, because Sanjay Dutt is the best wrestler from India.
But anyway, I mean, I'm not really wishing ill will towards him, but I just think it's cool that you have, like you said, Samoa Joe is still wrestling. Christopher Daniels is still kind of wrestling and has had a dark match pretty recently. His poor eye, though, it's been like a year since his eye's been bloodshot. That poor guy. I guess he has to wear like a fake contact, he was saying on an interview, because his eye's just so bloodshot, because like something happened and it's not coming back to normal.
It was when he got busted open the hard way, I think, in that last match. I think against the Young Bucks. I'm pretty sure that's when that happened.
But it's crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure that, oh God, I don't know, what are we calling Caval now? He has so many different names. So I'm pretty sure he's still wrestling out there. So it's just cool to see that, it's our whole format of our show is past and present, but the past is still in the present. So I know it's a long diatribe to say that, but I just think it's kind of cool that we're seeing this still. Like, we saw this great wrestling, like Roland said, the X Division, which had no limits, and then you have the Japan Cup. So it was heavily TNA featured. So it was a great way to start with 2 great matches to open the show. And usually I complain about their booking and how they open their matches, but stack their card. But it was nice to start off fast paced and entertaining to get that crowd going.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, next up is a arm wrestling challenge. You have Bob Armstrong with BJ James and Kit James getting a win over Conan with Homicide and Hernandez.
That's Bullet Bob Armstrong to you.
That's true. I'm sorry, Bob Armstrong. Full disclosure, this is
Two Live, whatever they are, Crew and the James Gang, whatever they're calling themselves now. And
I love it.
Wow, I wish you guys prepared this hard during a regular episode. Anyway.
That was a low blow.
So wasn't this match. So I figured this was more entertaining than this arm wrestling match was. Let's be real.
Hey, this was also, before we go too far, the debut on pay-per-view of Sean Hernandez.
It's
probably the most significant thing about this segment.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, because you had Who was the other guy with them, Mongo, originally? Machete? Was that who it was?
Machete.
Some like nobody that like. So like when you think of LAX, you think of Homicide and Hernandez, or you think of Ortiz and Santana. Like those are the two combos you think of, whichever reincarnation, the newer or the older. And this is cool because this is the pay-per-view where it all started.
No, absolutely. And this is also when Conan kind of shifted more into the managerial role because he knew his in-ring days were done. Maybe slowing down to injury, but when he was a manager and he wrestled part-time with LAX, like you said, 1.0 with Homicide and Hernandez and 2.0 with Santana Ortiz, and then later Eddie Kingston kind of getting involved. So like it's just really cool that this is where I was born, and holy crap, I didn't realize that they'd been around that long.
I thought 2.0 was those two clowns that were in Jericho's Appreciation Club now.
No, but I know Tim hasn't watched AEW, but what a great troll job by Jericho. The one thing like the AEW like loyalists hate is like sports entertainment. So what better way to troll it? Like, I don't want your wrestling, I'm your sports entertainment. So he's basically playing a WWE character in AEW.
Yeah.
And then Cody's kind of playing an AEW character. So I like this. I know people are kind of crapping, but right now this really does feel like the Monday Night Wars where you had people jumping ship and you're like, you knew who they are, and they still kind of played their same gimmick for a little bit.
Mongo just said he liked Cody. Can we like appreciate that for a minute? Hey, and to be fair, I will say Cody Rhodes is a stand-up dude. It was on Twitter recently that he had promised tickets to someone the next time that AEW had came to Philadelphia, and they're going to be there next week. And the guy tweeted at Cody and said he was trying to explain to his nephew, I think it was, or cousin or whoever, that the guy that said that didn't work there anymore. And Cody still got him tickets, and it sounds like they're going, and Cody's taking care of them. So, and then there was also a TikTok that came out where Cody's belt, this kid had a birthday there last week on Raw, and they asked him for the belt, and Cody said, when I come back out, I'll give it to you. And he did. So like I will say that as much as you may not like Cody, and right now it's a little oversaturated the way they're using him, which I get, but like they need to be careful because they don't want to keep. I know this isn't a Cody Rhodes thing. I'm just saying, if you keep pushing him the way you are, people are going to get tired of him. Just like, honestly, I don't know if you guys have noticed. I know Tim hasn't watched a ton of AEW lately. I know Mongo has. You notice that more and more people are booing CM Punk?
Yeah.
And I think it's because it's oversaturation. So like they need to be careful with Cody too, because you can't have Cody come out twice a night to his music and his pyro and all this shit. Like come out in a suit, come out in his wrestling gear. Like have him come out once a night, have everybody pop for him, call it a night. Stop getting greedy, Vince. We know you're popping money bags and trying to get milk the cow for as much as you can money wise. But you're wasting pyro because even Bobby Lashley didn't get any pyro on the stage this past Monday because they were probably all out. They probably used it all on Cody. But right. So I think they need to be careful because I think AEW has done the same thing with Punk, where like they'll start a show with them almost every week now, and it's like you guys are kind of pushing the envelope here. You might want to. Like, because more and more people are starting to boo Punk and they're starting to get tired of Punk because they're the same thing they did with Roman back when they were trying to make him relevant when he was a face. You can't shove these guys down people's throats.
It's like anything, I won't take Tim too off track on this, but I did apologize about, going overboard with jokes with Cody a few episodes ago. And, I said, hey, I'm glad he got the bag, glad he got his WrestleMania moment. I can't fault someone for going to get that money. I can't fault someone for if he thinks he's, better than he was in AEW, go do what he's going to do. I was just, and I agree with you. I think that, he is a great person. When I personally have met him on the Jericho Cruise and another meet and greet, he was fantastic. And he went over the top. He wasn't just like, hi, how you doing? Picture, go. Hi, how you doing? Picture, go. He shook Cam's hand. He shook Emily's hand. He gave Emily a hug, shook my hand, asked me how I'm doing, asked me about myself. So he spent time with you, and he genuinely cared about you. So I can say, yeah, he is a great guy. And like you said, all the things he does with charity, giving his belts away to kids, getting people's tickets. Cody is a person. Like I said, Cody Runnels, the person, is a fantastic person. I just didn't care for the character in AEW because it got oversaturated, like you said, overpushed. But I'm not going to hate on him really in WWE. I was just having fun with it.
You realize that every time, like once an episode, Mongo has to like flex on us that he's met all these fucking people. I'm just throwing it out there. You realize that? Jeez.
I'm not trying to flex. I'm just
no. You're flexing. Don't you're like fat guy in a little coat here pretty soon. You're gonna bust out it. You're gonna bust out of the coat and you're gonna be like, I'm flexing. Or like Pineapple Express. I'm gonna flex and bust out of here. I know Tim, you don't even know what that is. Mongo knows. But yeah, like so it's just it's funny, and I get why you do it, and it's obviously I'm giving you crap about it, but like it's funny that like once an episode he's like, so yeah, I met this guy on the cruise, and then this one guy took a picture with me, and he put his hand on my shoulder, and I felt so comfortable, and it was great. So like, yeah, no, it's just you know,
it was actually Powerhouse Hobbs, by the way. It really was.
He was like stroking your shoulder nice and gently, and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of nice." And you look over, and you're like, "Powerhouse Hobbs." Like, oh, shit, no wonder why Ricky Starks hangs out with him. Yeesh.
Well, I'm not trying to flex on you to be a dick. That's
Mr. Richard Mongo. We got to give Mongo a first name. He's now Richard Mongo. First name Richard. Anyways, but yeah, no, it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't pick on each other. That's what we do. So,
I know we're shitting on each other more than normal today.
We've had weeks where we haven't been able to do it. Mongo and I don't really shit on each other much when it's just the two of us. We have too much time going off track covering shit we're not supposed to cover. And then my mom yells at me that the episode was an hour and a half. So like, and she's like, there was only two of you. How does that happen? Like, well, Tim wasn't there to friggin' reel us in, you know. He's the that guy. Gonna be quicker than that. Yeah, they're a good segue.
Yeah,
I like that.
Thank you. Next up, we have.
I've heard that somewhere before.
We have an escape match. You have Chris Sabin, Elix Skipper, P.D. Williams, Chase Stevens, Shark Boy, and Puma. Basically, what this is, if I remember correctly, is you have to be, if you pinned or submitted, you're eliminated. When it gets on the final two, you have to escape the cage. So comes down to Chris Sabin and P.D. Williams, and Scott D'Amore gets involved, and P.D. Williams gets on Scott D'Amore's shoulders, and that allows Chris Sabin to win. It was a solid X Division match. It's kind of unusual that, the first three real matches on the show are all X Division matches. So they are really putting an emphasis on this division. And I think they've been solid matches.
Team Canada, we all know my feelings about Team Canada.
I almost made me spit my beer out.
You could have saved that for the actual Team Canada match, but all right, whatever.
I know. I figured Scott D'Amore, P.D. Williams.
Who says he won't push the button then, too?
That's true.
Mongo has this soundboard, and he's just like, ooh, buttons. He's like, this is great.
But, yeah, I was like...
I broke him.
We need him here next week. Settle down.
Yeah. We don't want Broken Tim to come out again.
Hey, at least Mongo is close to the Lake of Reincarnation if we needed, some intervention.
That is true. So, yeah, it's solid. Like I said, solid match. A little clunky with the rules. I would have rather just maybe one person escape and that's the win. But again, you have a lot of talent in this match. I thought the finish was a decent finish, and I enjoyed this one again.
Yeah, it was a creative finish. Old Canadian Bacon got involved, as Don West called him. I still think we need to appreciate how good Don West and Mike Tenay were together. I know that a lot of people crap on Mike Tenay for not really being much of a play-by-play guy, but the early years of TNA, these two guys were the voices of TNA, and I just like that they're not over-telling things. Like it's a nice, refreshing thing, because sometimes some of these commentators out there, can just go a little bit too overboard. Like a John Madden. Oh, he's got mud on his jersey. You know how you make mud? You get dirt and then you put rain in it and it makes mud. Like, you don't need to go that far. Like, we know what mud is like that. And it just feels like sometimes it's a little bit too forced and a little bit too much information that you don't need to know, and that's what I think, Don West and Mike Tenay were very simple, and they got the point across, and it's a refreshing combo that I think don't get enough appreciation for what they did for the early years of TNA.
No, I agree. I thought the match itself was great. Like you said, the commentators made the pay-per-view. They got better and better as we've gone on. I mean, this has been what, exactly a year? A year ago is when we started doing TNA, right? Because it was a year ago in April, because we did Lockdown. So it's just cool to see that, like, even in 2005, 2006, how much they've grown. Because, like you said, they don't over-explain everything. I mean, I know we had that one episode where they were literally missing everything and, like, they were, like, talking to each other. But, like, they were talking to each other, like, having a legit conversation. We're not talking about what was going on in the ring. You're like, okay. But no, I mean, I thought it was great for what it was. I don't really typically like those kind of finishes. Like, he's sitting on him. Why wouldn't he just throw him down? And, like, I don't understand the logic of him holding him there longer as, you know, if he wasn't sitting there struggling on his friggin' shoulders, like, just slide down his back. I don't understand this. So, like, the logic, it was just too cute of a finish, I guess.
Scott D'Amore did not want Petey Williams to fall on his head. He was just trying to be helpful.
But I will give Petey Williams credit because right now the matches he's been producing in WWE have been straight fire. So, I mean, his wrestling mind is bar none. So, like, I will give him some credit since I kind of crapped on the finish a little bit.
Hey, he didn't come up with the finish, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not going to fault him. That has Scott D'Amore written all over it, literally. He was so excited. He's, like, waiting for him. He's like, yeah. Like, he's
like, I can't wait to have Petey's hog on the back of my neck. Yeah, clip that, Mongo.
Right? Next up, we have another 6-sided steel match, this time for the X Division title. You have Samoa Joe getting a win over Sabu. Short match, you're only 6 minutes. You know, this was like your brawler type match. I think it is what it was expected. I don't know if it was a pure wrestling match per se. I mean, it's Sabu's involved, so it's not really going to be one. But I thought it was entertaining. You know, you had the spike, segment of the match where, like, they're trying to take Joe's eye out, which was kind of entertaining, I guess, if you're morbid. But yeah, I thought it was, for what it was, I thought it was okay. It was entertaining. You know, I'm glad they kept it short. I think any longer, it probably would have taken away from the match. I think keeping it at 6 minutes was the right decision. So yeah, for what it was a good match.
Yeah, this is the type of match that I'm okay with it being short because, like you said, the longer it goes, the more you realize how bad Sabu really was at actually wrestling. Like, again, I give him credit for some of the stuff he did. Like, he was a crazy bastard. Like, I'm not going to discredit that at all. But actually having a wrestling match, he lacked in that department. I mean, it'd be like trying to get a wrestling match out of Sandman. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a wrestling match. So they were smart about it, and it was a solid match. Like you said, it was a hard hitting. You know, there was spots in there where they did use the cage, and they, you know, got creative with a few things. And I think they got everything in that they needed to in just under 7 minutes. And it's proof that when done right and produced correctly, you can have a shorter match, and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I agree. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go longer because, like you said, Sabu's not, you know, a ring warrior there. He's, no offense, just a hardcore wrestler. You know, he's known for crazy spots, crazy bumps on barbed wire tables, but traditional wrestling he's not really known for. I mean, he's not a bum by any means. It's just his matches just don't do it for me unless it's, I hate to say, the hardcore match because, like, his whole moniker, the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, like, it doesn't really work in a traditional wrestling match. So I thought it was okay. Like Tim said, if you're a morbid fan, like, you know, some of the stuff was a little over the top, but it was kind of just there for me. I mean, we've watched a lot of good Samoa Joe matches, but this one wasn't it.
At least it wasn't the eye for an eye match.
No.
No, just stop. No.
You're welcome. You are welcome.
Can I say except you're
welcome? We have another 6-sided steel match up next.
Oh God! Was that Sabu trying to, like, the hell?
Who was it that fell?
Yeah, who fell? Yeah, who was it? Was it another one of your clear tacks you're going to step on?
Probably. I don't know who fell. Fix that.
Look on the floor.
Look at it.
Look down. There it is. He just rolled over it like he did his cell phone that one time.
No. Yeah. It was Jungle Boy. He fell down.
Oh, man. He's like the lightest figure you got.
Probably. See what happens at like almost 2:00 in the morning here.
Apparently, shit in North Carolina falls off walls.
Yeah. Anyway,
great job, Command Hook.
Oh, chalk that up with a list of never
this podcast.
Our podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say this podcast not sponsored by Command Hooks ever.
Thank God.
So let's talk about this Anthem match. So basically, it's capture the flag. Capture the flag, and the winner gets the Anthem played. It's a typical Team 3D match. I mean, it's just a brawl, and then you have my favorite team, Team Canada, in there
Team
with
Canada.
Takes off.
My feelings about Team Canada.
You don't have I thought you were gonna do an A1's Take Sauce clip.
No, I couldn't. I don't think I have that one. I might.
Okay. Anyway.
No, I don't have it.
Yeah, that's okay.
It was this match was,
but it's just I don't know. I'm just tired of it.
I'm done. That was my last one. I promise. I'm done fucking with you on this one.
Hey, was this also the pay-per-view debut of Brother Runt too?
Yes. He was in TNA for a short time. I think this was his debut.
What a terrible name too. Like I know they obviously couldn't use Spike Dudley, but Brother Runt. Like what a terrible name. He's
a little guy. What are you going to call him? Big Dick Dudley?
No, I think that was already taken by someone.
I know. That was the day.
I'll just call them their real name. That's what TNA did all the time, even if their real names are awkward as hell.
Like, here comes Kip Sop.
Here's Sean Morley.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, didn't he get banned from Twitter?
I mean, it's probably for the best.
I think he did.
Goodbye, ladies.
Hello, irrelevancy.
All right. Moving along.
Hey, we didn't get to give our thoughts about this match. What the hell?
Well, you guys weren't talking. I thought you didn't have anything to say.
I got all kinds of things to say, like how the ending was a fake ending, and they put the flag back up, and somehow, usually when that happens, the other team wins, but somehow this time the Dudleys still won, which was kind of refreshing because 9 times out of 10, 99 out of 100, when that happens, usually the other team wins. So I will say that was kind of refreshing in a way.
Didn't they did something similar to that with the Dudleys before, right? Where the music started to play and everything, and both the referee blinded or something. Yeah.
Yeah, back when Gail Kim was a ninja at throwing powder.
That's right.
I don't want to give my thoughts. This match was terrible. I mean, for how good Team 3D was, there was just no chemistry in this match. Like it was like they were just like brawling the whole time. And then, I mean, there was one good spot where they did the what's up, like to pop the crowd. But realistically, this was one of those, as Tim would say, look at my phone, flip through your phone, maybe send Roland a TikTok at WPAP podcast.
I actually thought this match was kind of entertaining. I don't know. I think Mongo might be more drunk than I am, but
no.
I mean, it was definitely not like hot garbage, but I mean, it wasn't the best thing in the world either. But like I said, it was nice that they did a creative ending where it wasn't predictable. Like, I mean, that was one nice thing about it. And they didn't go too long either. It wasn't one of those matches where you're like, come on, just end the match.
Yeah, maybe I'm just sick of Team Canada like Tim. Maybe that's just what it is. It's just I seeing them wrestle.
In all honesty, I think that might be it, because if it had been a little bit different without Team Canada or whatever, I think it might have been a little bit better. I will give you that yeah, Team Canada at this point has played its course. We all know how Tim feels about it, and I'm starting to feel the same way, where it's like, okay, we get it.
How do I feel about it, Mongo?
I closed the soundboard. I told you I was done. But we all know your thoughts on Team Canada.
Yeah, we heard it twice this episode. So,
anyways, next up is the 6-sided steel match for the NWA World Heavyweight Title. Christian Cage is going to retain against Abyss in about 14 minutes. The one thing I kept thinking about watching this match is that Christian really he can wrestle anybody. I mean, this is definitely the definition of a styles clash, pardon the pun. But he made it work. I mean, I didn't know how well this match would go together, but I thought it was really entertaining. And I'm kind of, I again question the booking of Abyss, though. It seems like he's in these high profile matches and never really gets that big win. And they're trying to push him as this monster character. And he just never wins the big one, to quote a wrestling phrase. So, but yeah, I really I thought this was a great match, and like I said, Christian can wrestle anybody.
Mongo, does it sound like anybody that we know in AEW that is also the same way, that never seems to win the big one, but supposedly
everybody dies?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it mirrors exactly what we were talking about with Lance Hoyt, Lance Archer, whatever the hell you want to call him. It's the same kind of booking where, like, he's supposedly this big monster, and the only thing he's done is win that one match to become the title holder, and then he lost it the very next match, so it didn't matter. So, like, I feel like that's a good point, Tim, that it's very similar right now, the way that they're using Abyss as, this monster. And Tim, you had to love the promo by James Mitchell. We know you're a big James Mitchell fan. Like you said, he could very easily, he imagine if he came in and did something with like the House of Black.
That's I've been saying that for months now. I think he would be awesome with Aleister Black.
Or if he came into WWE and did something with Edge's faction, like he would fit right into. I know that a lot of people are kind of crapping on Edge's thing as like, oh, it's like the House of Black, and it kind of is. But however, you have to remember that Edge was in the Brood well before Tommy End was even fucking relevant. So let's just remember that. So
it's just people who don't know what they're talking about. They talk about the butts.
Well, and to be fair, I'm waiting to see if Rhea is going to join that group. I know Mongo mentioned he kind of called the Damian Priest thing, but it looks like we're starting to see the dark side of Rhea, and it wouldn't surprise me. She's been kind of underutilized. It would not surprise me if she joined that group.
Well, the big thing I've noticed too is they keep putting that light behind her too. It's like that same color light, and I will say it is one of the smart things that I am frustrated, Tim, like you are with Abyss, because I remember liking Abyss a lot, but I think this is probably kind of what turned me off in his character, is because, like you said, he never got that brass ring. He never got that match that meant something. He was always kind of I'm an unstoppable monster, except when it counts. And I think that's kind of what derailed his character. Turned him into like what was it, Parks, Joseph Parks, the attorney, and all the hot garbage that would come later in his career. But this match was surprisingly decent. Like Tim said at the top, Christian could just work with everyone. I mean, some of the spots they were doing, even that sunset flip, powerbomb, when he like went from the top to the turnbuckle to the tacks, that was a cool spot. And he made Abyss look stronger, because Abyss has just kind of been in those junk matches like Sabu, like we said earlier. But this one, Abyss did a lot of work. Black Hole Slam still one of the best finishers. I don't care what people say. And fun fact, so here's rolling fact number 2, but it's actually a video clip. So this particular match is very famous, and it was in another show. Do you guys remember which TV show had this same match? No. Here you go. I'll play it.
Was it double?
Somebody better be dying.
His big brother's got a crush on me, so he bit the crap out of Chase.
I care because... Just thought you might want to know when one of your employees gets attacked by a sociopath.
Bees or monkeys, yes.
Sociopaths, no.
He's not a man. He is a monster. No way. We gotta take another look at this guy in the truck. That might be what he is. Able to somehow kick out of the frog class.
So that was Dr. House MD. I thought it was cool because I remember I'm pretty sure there was an episode, and I saw something on Reddit because it was like, this day in history, and I'm like, oh my god, that's our topic, so I got to include that clip. So it's actually on Peacock if you guys want to watch it. It's season 3, episode 19. Basically, he's watching that, and he gets a brainstorm when they're wrestling in that match. So I just think it's kind of a cool segue to our show that the match we're covering was in House. So just thought that was a fun little find.
And this is also too when WWE didn't really use Christian the way that he had been used. So coming from WWE to TNA, he was a big name, but nobody really knew what he could do at a main event level because he had never been pushed at that main event level. And I think this is the style of match that really solidified that he was the type of guy, again, that could have a match with anybody and that was almost like that unsung hero of, because I mean, a lot of people, like, if you ask wrestling fans, Edge or Christian, they're going to pick Edge pretty much every time. And I think that Christian, here's how I'm going to put this. If Matt Hardy never did his broken gimmick, you can very easily say that Christian and Matt Hardy were like the two weakest of their two teams, clearly, because Jeff Hardy is who he is, Edge is who he is. This right here shows you that there's a good chance that Christian might be at the level of an Edge or a Jeff Hardy, and it shows you that he can compete and that he can go. And the reason I brought up Matt Hardy was because those two teams were so iconic. And honestly, if Matt Hardy never did that broken gimmick, I don't think he'd still be relevant today the way that he is, because that kind of saved his career, to be honest with you. And Christian did that at this time in 2006 because he was floundering in WCW or WWE, WCW, what the hell. I finished my beer, guys, so just bear with me. He was floundering in WWE. He leaves WWE to go to the little guy, and he became the big fish in a small pond kind of thing, and it worked out really well for him. And then he would come back to WWE and be that main eventer that everybody thought he could be. Again, some of his pushes were a little bit iffy in WWE. However, he planted his seeds of being that main eventer in TNA at this time.
And the best wrestlers will reinvent themselves, and that's what makes them great. You know, Jericho's reinvented himself like 7,000 times. You know,
is that all?
Right. Another recent example is a Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre leaves WWE after he was, you know, the chosen one. He goes to Impact, has a monster run, becomes world champion, runs to NXT for a hot second, and eventually becomes world champion. So, like, it just shows that when you can show, even if you're a big fish, that's, I don't know how I got that smish word. Apparently we're talking about fraud alerts here, you know, smishing, fishing. But even if you're in like a small pond and you're a big fish, you still got to grow. You still got to show who you are, because you can't get complacent. And I think that's what this did for Christian. It showed that, look, yes, Edge was the bigger star, but I'm just as good as a wrestler. So now you go become the star. You know, to circle back earlier, it's what Cody kind of did. He went to AEW to show Vince, look, I'm a star. And that's what you have to do to stay relevant. And this match was, I mean, this whole pay-per-view, I think, showcases all the different talents that stayed relevant and reinvented themselves. AJ Styles is still relevant today because he's reinvented himself. You know, he got stale in TNA. He went to, you know, New Japan, came back. So I think TNA was a good spark for a lot of these wrestlers, and I think it shows that even if you go from one brand to the other, as long as you can shine and you can do your best and get the right push on like Lance Archer.
Well, Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt. There's a lot of names on here that have gone a roundabout kind of way and lost their relevancy at certain points, but are now still relevant today because of, if they didn't have their Ring of Honor runs and they didn't have their TNA runs, no one would care today. Yeah. Thankfully, they had those, and that's what made, like, same with AJ Styles, going to New Japan. If they had come in and they had been like, okay, you're going to be Alan Jones. That's who you're going to be. We're not going to let you be AJ Styles. You're going to be Alan Jones. You're going to be the phenomenal Alan Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying.
The spectacular Steve.
Yeah, the fantastic Alan Jones. It's Stang. Anyhow.
Terrific Timothy.
Yeah, right. I'm Ezekiel, damn it. But yeah, so, you know, it just goes to prove there's a lot of names on here that are still relevant today, you know, and even guys like Sting, who has never reinvented himself since the Crow gimmick, other than the Joker gimmick he had a little bit in TNA. He's still the same guy he was 20 years ago in AEW, and he's still very relevant. So, like, you know, it just goes to show you, like you said, if you can either have a character that transcends a generation,
like Undertaker,
or like Sting did, you know, or if you reinvent yourself and you become whatever somewhere else and come back. Either way, if you do it the right way and you're pushed the right way, look how well that works out.
Yeah. Well, speaking of not changing a gimmick, we have Jeff Jarrett.
Right? So, speaking of Sting and Jeff Jarrett, that brings us to our main event. It is a lethal lockdown match. Basically, this is like a War Games match where you have 2 people from each team. They wrestle for 5 minutes, then one member comes in every 2 minutes after that. And then when everybody's in the ring, it turns into a Nickelodeon show, and there's like smoke and like pyro, and the cage comes down. And like, we mentioned the aggro crag in our intro. Kind of reminded me of that kind of thing.
Yes, like when they're getting ready to go run up it.
Yeah.
Do you have it?
Do you have guts?
So we have Sting's Warriors, which I wonder if that's a play off the tag team with the Ultimate Warrior that Sting, started with the Blade Runners. You have Sting, AJ Styles, Ron Killings, and Rhino. They're going to get a win over Jeff Jarrett's Army, which is Jeff Jarrett, Scott Steiner, AMW, with Gail Kim and Jackie Gate.
And don't forget that my own personal friend James Storm, who I've messaged with before, is in this match. I have messages on Twitter with the James Storm. He's my own personal friend. Yes.
And he did a shout out for us before. We played it again for you guys today. So thank you, James Storm, for doing that.
Yeah, he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah. These matches are a little for me. I mean, I don't get it because you can't score the win until everybody's there. So I don't get why. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. But the finish, I think Chris Harris has Sting in the Scorpion Deathlock. Sting reverses it. Sarah steps out, which didn't even look like he had it on all the way. Like at the end, it looked like he was barely like applying the hold. But it's an okay match for me. I don't know. I don't like these type of rules. There's too many rules for me in this type of match.
Most wrestling fans like simple, and sometimes when you have to skip to here and then jump to here and then you take your boot off and then you do this and you do a somersault, and then if all the guys are in the ring you can pin one guy, but if they're not there yet you can't. Like it does get too clustery because it then makes you like overthink things, and you're like, well, why didn't he just pin him? Oh, that's right, there's still one more guy to come out. He couldn't pin him even though he just took a nasty bump that he wouldn't get up from. I agree.
Yeah, when the rules kind of just, like Tim and you kind of said, don't make sense, you just get lost. You don't really care about the match. And honestly, it's Jeff Jarrett, and Roland had his rant a few episodes ago that Jeff Jarrett's matches are always the exact same friggin' ending. I mean, this obviously was Sting going over because it's Sting. But
it's
Jeff
Sting! Sorry.
Or when you get shampoo in the eyes.
It burns.
Oh.
I know, wrong thing, but
So I don't know. What did you guys all think? I'd probably say I give this show like a solid 6.5. It wasn't a terrible show, but I think 6.5 would be a good rating.
Yeah, I would probably go towards the 7 range. There's a lot of good matches. A lot of the X Division matches were solid. Main event was kind of a letdown from the rules, but I think there's enough wrestling. It was actually a pretty well booked show, I think, for TNA. So I would give it a 7.
Yeah, I would probably go with an Allen Angels mixed with a Evil Uno, somewhere in that range. That's 6, Mongo. That's that. I didn't want to go with Sean Waltman again because I always go there, but somewhere in the 6.5 range for me. Definitely a little bit too gimmicky at times with every match being in a cage, and I get it's lockdown or whatever, but like you can still have a pay-per-view, call it lockdown, and have the last match be a lethal lockdown match, and you don't need to have all the other ones in a cage. But I think that it was refreshing that a lot of the matches didn't use the cage certain ways, and that, so it was creative enough. But again, a steel cage match, if you're an old school fan, is meant for a blow off, and some of these Japanese wrestlers and some of the other wrestlers that were just making kind of a cup of coffee in TNA, there was no blow off to be had. So it kind of took away from it a bit. So yeah, somewhere in the 6.5 range would be about where I would put it.
And one thing is, I love that TNA kind of carried WCW's tradition of bringing guys from Japan over to kind of come to the US, whether they showcased them in the X Division Cup or whether they showcased them on the pay-per-views, or whether fucking Shannon Moore ruins a match you want to see. I just loved how they would bring them in. And I like how AEW is working with New Japan. They're bringing them in because, and this isn't me trying to say anything bad about, Vince, but it's refreshing to see a company still do that because we haven't had it for so long, because you're going to get dream matches like Kenta and, versus CM Punk. Everyone wants to see that. You have Okada versus Kenny. Everyone wants to see that. And Kent has been tweeting out, go to sleep versus go to sleep, because everyone claims that CM Punk stole the go to sleep from Kenta. So the possibilities of dream matches in Chicago, seeing, essentially matches that we probably couldn't have seen WWE on this kind of pay-per-view, it's great to watch these. So I think that's kind of why I went up a half a point, like Tim said, those opening matches, and then just the mixture of talent was, refreshing. It wasn't, Team Canada bored me to death. It was nice to see some of these other faces like, oh yeah, I forgot they had a cup of coffee here.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that is our rundown of TNA Lockdown 2006. Thank you guys for tuning us in today. Coming up for you guys next week, it is Backlash 2006. So we're circling back to the E. It's the debut of God. So we're going to break down his debut match. He's teamed up with Shawn Michaels to take on the McMahon, so that should be interesting to discuss. But yeah, looking forward to covering Backlash 06. It was great to be back with you guys. Again, sorry I missed the last couple episodes, but we're definitely a better episode when all of us are together. We get shit on each other, ragging each other. So thank you guys once again for holding the fort down the last couple weeks. Follow us on Twitter, our TikTok. I almost said Peacock there. We're not on Peacock yet. All of our socials. Thank you for listening. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up? All right. Well, let's head on out of here because it is 2:15 on Saturday morning, currently as we're recording this. So until next week, I am Tim Kurt.
I'm Roland Fulis.
And I'm lost. I'm just kidding. I'm Mongo.
And this is sorry.
Oh, come on.
Look. I mean, you got to give him credit. He's been doing it, so
I know.
I got excited again, and Mongo fucked it all up last week. So I'm just trying to. I'm sorry. I'm going to mute myself for the rest.
Look, I'm trying to finish my beer, right?
I'm going to put myself on mute, and you guys can say how I'm on mute. I'm trying
to. Hey, he has to be on mute at least once an episode. And this is Wrestling with Wrestling's Past and Present.
Nothing?
I think we covered it.
I think we're good.
I hope you're all having a nice day.